We tend to think life is complicated, that happiness is hidden in some elaborate formula, a puzzle that only the most disciplined, the most intelligent, the most successful can solve. But sometimes, life is not a puzzle at all. Sometimes it's more like a tomato. Think about a tomato for a moment. It's ordinary, unassuming. You find it stacked in grocery stores, sliced in sandwiches, simmered in sauces. And yet, the tomato holds a quiet truth about how to live. If you look closely, a tomato doesn't try to be more than what it is. It doesn't try to be an apple, or a strawberry, or a perfect polished fruit. It grows in its own shape, its own time, with its own imperfections. And maybe that's the first lesson life offers us through this simple fruit. We spend so much of our lives trying to be what we're not, chasing images, expectations, masks. But real peace comes when we stop performing, when we allow ourselves to grow into whatever shape we were meant to take. A tomato isn't flawless. Its skin splits, its colors vary. Sometimes it's misshapen. But none of that takes away from its value. In fact, those imperfections are part of what makes it real. And isn't it the same with us? We spend endless hours trying to cover our flaws, fix our cracks, polish our edges, believing that only perfection will make us worthy. But the truth is, the cracks don't ruin us, they reveal us. The tomato also teaches simplicity. Bite into it raw, and it's enough. Put it on bread with a little salt and olive oil, and it becomes a meal. Life, too, doesn't always require extravagance to be fulfilling. Sometimes the simplest things, a conversation with someone you love, the warmth of sunlight, a quiet walk, are what feed us the most. But in a world obsessed with more success, more possessions, more status, we forget this. We forget that the essence of life is not accumulation, but experience. Not spectacle, but presence. Another truth of the tomato: it doesn't grow overnight. From seed to sprout to fruit, it takes time. Patient, ordinary, unremarkable time. And here's where many of us struggle. We want life to move fast. We want instant results, instant growth, instant happiness. But life, like a tomato, resists being rushed. Growth requires patience. Change requires seasons. And meaning unfolds not in a single burst, but in steady ripening. If you've ever held a perfectly ripe tomato in your hand, you know the quiet joy of timing. Pick it too early, and it's hard, bitter. Too late, and it rots. But when it's just right, it's tender, flavorful, alive. Life asks the same of us. There is a time for striving and a time for resting. A time for waiting and a time for acting. And wisdom is knowing when to do which. And perhaps this is the simplest truth of all. A tomato doesn't complicate itself with what it isn't. It doesn't wish for another season. It doesn't envy the cucumber or the apple or the grape. It simply exists. It takes in the sun, the soil, the rain, and quietly becomes itself. What if we lived the same way? What if we stopped complicating life with endless comparisons, constant striving, and the illusion that we're always missing something? What if life, like the tomato, is enough when we let it be enough? Simplicity doesn't mean ignoring problems or abandoning ambition. It means recognizing that the core of what makes life meaningful is already here. Not in the next milestone, not in the perfect image, not in the endless pursuit of more, but in the ordinary, imperfect, ever-ripening present. So maybe life really is like a tomato. Imperfect, simple, patient, and enough. And maybe the wisdom of the tomato is this: stop trying to be what you're not. Stop rushing the process. Stop complicating what is already whole. Grow in your own season, ripen in your own time. And remember that life, like the tomato, doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful.